Listen, everyone makes mistakes. Me, you, my mom, even though she won't admit to it, your mom, we all mess up. We're human and none of us are perfect. If we were, I mean, that'd be boring anyways. And plus I'd be out of a job. The beautiful thing about making a mistake is that once you recognize it, you learn from it and you improve yourself from it. But the issue with that is that some people don't realize they're doing something wrong. So they never learn from it and keep repeating the same mistake. This is how low elo players are stuck in these low ranks. So today I'll be covering low elo mistakes that people make in every role. So let's get started. Now I think it's only fair that we start with the Duelists. They're the only agents that have get out of jail free cards and they're kind of allowed to make the most mistakes. But the biggest issue that I see every Duelist make, that they can't dash away from, is that they always make these ridiculous solo plays. Like every Duelist thinks that they're just the star of the show, or they're Superman and they have to save the world every round. But here's the secret. They make their jobs so much harder than they need to be. They don't need to make hero plays every round, and instead should be working with their teammates to set themselves up as much as possible. I always told Duelists that I trained that they don't just have satchels, leers, or flashes, but instead they have almost every ability in the game. The catch is that instead of pressing a key to use it, the ability is voice activated. I mean, just think about it. Don't you think it'd be easier to frag out on Reyna if you had a Sova Owl drone to follow behind every round? Or wouldn't you agree that a Raze would have an easier time entering off of a Breach Stun, Skydog, or like a KO Flash? Despite what you guys think, your support players want to help you. From your games that I've VOD reviewed or coached, I've never run into a support player who wouldn't support the player that I'm coaching. A lot of players are just too afraid, shy, or nervous in order to ask for things. Or they just assume that they won't help them. All you have to say is, hey Sova, can you drone me up mid? Hey Fade, can you prowl around the site? Sky, can you flash around this corner? And since you're the Duelist, you get to make a play off their utility and get free kills. Let's take a look at how Energy Sam does it.
Can you just insta ult like this?
Oh, you want me ult?
Like insta, literally insta.
Alright, so like from the cubby?
Yeah.
Dog first,
No, you can ult literally from barrier,
Oh, you want me to ult right here?
Yeah.
Bro, you always play,
Tethered. Can't see, can't smell, and ain't COVID.
You blocked me, you fucking piece of shit, man.
What the fuck? What is happening?
Sam doesn't ask for a Prowler, but instead asks for Fade's entire ultimate. By doing so, it clears out all of short and allows Sam to only have to focus on shower and backside. Once he takes care of showers, he unexpectedly updrafts and gets a free kill with his knives. This round probably wouldn't have been possible without him asking his Fade to rip his ultimate. So Duelists, stop making solo plays and ask your team for some help. They and your KD will be happy that you did. And speaking of solo plays, why would you want to do anything solo? I mean, especially when it comes to learning a new game. Well, we at SkillCapped have developed a community that you can join, make some friends, and climb the ranks together. Not only that, but on our website, we have world-class courses covering any topic you could possibly want. Agent courses, Radiant Smurf commentaries, personal VOD reviews, we have it all. I know this sounds too good to be true, but this is why we have our rank up guarantee. If you don't rank up while using our service, you're going to get your money back. So if you want to make friends and climb the ladder both at the same time, be sure to check out SkillCapped. We'll be waiting. Next, let's talk about the Initiators. And in my opinion, these agents have some of the strongest utility pieces in the game. Fade and Sova's signature abilities are hard to hit, KO's knife is extremely flexible, Breach's stun clogs up so much space, and I could go on and on. But wouldn't it be great if you could have extra signatures? Like imagine you could just spam Breach stuns all over the map like a machine gun. Well, while you can't spam them all the time, people seem to forget that these abilities recharge. They're literally free, but all you have to do is wait. So let's say, for example, you're playing against a Killjoy, Viper, and a Sage. Odds are, if you're going to rush a site, you're probably going to get stuffed. What I see too often in low elo lobbies is that people would just decide to re-hit a site or just run into areas whenever they feel like it. If you're an Initiator player, it should be up to you to tell your teammates, hey, let's just group up in 20 seconds when my arrow recharges. We call this the 40-second rule, and did an entire video based around it. If you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend you check it out. Essentially what it is that most signature abilities recharge after 40 seconds, so re-hits and executes should come at around the 40 to 50 second mark. But, especially in low elo, these abilities are already hard for bad players to deal with, so why not wait for a second one? No one's going to shoot the recon dart or the haunt, so why not wait for a second one and actually hit a site after you've already broken Killjoy setups or Viper's out of fuel? I mean, pros use this rule all the time. Look at this round.
Information now being looked for from Liquid off the back of Soulcast. That's going to give some extra space for Yumpy to push, but it might leave them a little bit delayed when it comes to actually defending this A site. May even have to set up for a retake, because when the trap's eventually broken, the haunt going through, They have no space to fight us now, bitch.
Well, yeah, you are pushed completely back. And you look down at the toolkit, there's something to work with for Liquid on the way back in, at least. Playing through that Viper's Pit, it's not going to be ideal. You know, they've already used the Trailblazer up. They've got a nade to play with, can maybe clear some space. Oh, maybe not. That was a crazy peek by Scream. He's trying to open the space for his team. They are here, but the flash catches Moles. Oh, he's got him. He should never have gotten a kill after those first 10 bullets.
M3C starts off the round by applying pressure towards B with their Raze towards Hookah and their Sky long. That's their first wave utility. Then you'll see them walk back towards A and hit with their Viper smokes and recharged abilities. With this much utility being dumped onto site, this forces Team Liquid to play the retake. I'm telling you, these extra abilities can and will win you so many rounds. Next, we should talk about the Sentinels. I'm a Sentinel main and have played every one of them since the beta. But the thing that pains me the most when I watch lower elos play is when these players get too greedy or too aggressive. As of now, Chamber is the meta Sentinel agent, and a lot of players who don't know how to play the role are picking him up. So here's the thing, each Sentinel holds map control in their own way. Cypher with information, Killjoy and Sage with utility, and Chamber with his guns. Chambers ideally want to push up into aggressive angles so that he can hold space for his team. His job is to get a kill or land major chip damage so that the retake is much easier for defenders. But that's not the case with bad Chambers. What they'll do is get a kill or something, but then they try and go for more. Against good players, this isn't going to work, and you're going to get traded out. Chambers' rendezvous isn't as instant as you think, and if you die, your team is at a major disadvantage. Your trip is down, you gave up all that map control you were holding, and now you just made it even harder for your team to retake. Now, this is the same problem with Cypher, Killjoy, and Sage players as well. Their abilities are really strong at holding space in their own way, but low elo players die before they even get value from their kit. Killjoy is fighting with her turret too hard, Sage is always swinging on the top of their walls, and Cypher is either play too passive so that all their utility is stuffed up on one site, or so aggressive that they just die. I'm not saying that you can't play aggressively with your setups, but knowing when to fall back is a really important skill to have. Let's take a look at this round from Guard versus Cloud9.
Comes back towards this A site, and has been good with the Sheriff before. Inside market, gonna be Timid turret that's gonna help him out to spot the entrance of C9 into the A site.
Paranoia across. Is that going to be Tree Smoke? Tree Smoke, Paranoia to the left side. Actually, Paranoia's turret to start off, and the null command comes through, and they're not pressuring too hard just yet. It was only Leaf. Oh, there it is.
Talked about the Sheriff in the back of the site. Net still has it. 2 kills that he's taken down. Get the third one onto Zephyr. Wait! Oh my god, how does that happen? Net, you are!
Notice how Net's turret is set up to take contact into A main. He's not fighting with it, but instead is using it to stall. The thing about Ascent is that there are so many spots that are hard to clear for attackers. Hell, Generator, Boathouse, all of these spots are powerful positions to play from as they're just awkward fights to take. Net knows that him fighting against an entire execute with just a Sheriff and his turret would be a death sentence. His win condition is him isolating 1v1s in one of these positions. Doing so buys time for his team to rotate and help him out on site. It's not an easy condition to win the round, but it's arguably the only way. I mean, just hit your shots, it's that simple. I mean, had he tried to contest A main with his turret, I'm sure he would have just gotten run over. But here's another example from the same game.
Man, so we might still try to default very slowly, and with this 3-player lean towards this A site, now slowly towards B, we can still null command into this B.
It's working its way. They're trying to fake Curry utility on the other side. It was the C's that went over the wall there. 2 bites from Cat. If they can actually get this mid-control. Shanty didn't step out of the archway. What timing? That's the null command you were talking about. They are going to rush into sight.
30 seconds left.
Astlane with a bit of coverage.
Come out towards the B site. We're now moving in, as you mentioned, on that fast.
Killjoy knows that she has to give up sight, and she forms a strong crossfire with her Fade on sight. Knowing when to give it up, stall for your team, and how not to throw your life away is a very valuable skill to have. Lastly, but certainly not least, let's talk about the controllers. The thing people don't realize about controllers is that they're the lifeblood of the team. They're like the backbone of this game. Without smokes, this game would be dead. Unfortunately, not a lot of people love playing this role, but it is a staple role no matter what the meta, map, day, time, or year is. But if you really want to master this role, the biggest thing you want to get down are smoke timings. These are things like knowing when your smokes need to go down before an execute starts. Is your team mollied off? Did you get KO knifed? Is the team even together? These questions are important because if smokes go down too early, then they'll fade out as your team is getting onto site. If they're down too late, little Timmy is going to be upset that he died from defender spawn. but there are a ton more situations like this. For example, on post plants, you need to recognize when your smokes are fading so that you can keep a choke point smoked until the spike goes off. Or if you ever find yourself playing with two controllers, you two need to coordinate where and when your smokes are going. In this round from the guard, Viper and Brimstone communicate so well that B-side is constantly smoked and doesn't allow 100 Thieves to spam the spike so easy. Or in this round, they utilize both controllers at the same time and pull off a dirty B-split.
Contact's really clear. All the information going to be gained now. They know where these players are being corralled. Right into orange, but it is Valorant who wins out the fight. Derek falling. One less opportunity for 100 Thieves, and still the angles are being watched. The flanks swarmed inside the pit. Bang really just can't hold. The unrelenting force. Though does clean up side player, but it is chaotic. Down to just Asna.
Knowing your smoke timings is what separates the good controllers from the great controllers. But this is all just one of many in-depth guides that we have on our website though. Also, if you want a chance at having your VOD reviewed, be sure to subscribe to our website at SkillCapped.com. As I mentioned, we also have tons of Radiant Smurf commentaries, where we have Radiant players walking through exactly how to have the most impact possible in a bunch of different situations. It's also backed by our rank improvement guarantee, and the reason to do that is because you're just that confident that our service works. And if it doesn't work, then you shouldn't pay. So what are you waiting for? You got nothing to lose, head on over to SkillCapped.com and get started in your way to that rank that you deserve. So hopefully you guys now have a better understanding of how you should each be playing your role. Like I said, everyone makes mistakes, but the sooner you recognize them is the sooner you can improve from them. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It really does help us out. And that's all for us. I'm Teets, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.